You probably did at least one thing today that signed us linked to a higher IQ. Not something impressive, not something you had put on a resume, something you were maybe a little embarrassed about. Talking to yourself in the car, staying up way too late again, getting lost in a Wikipedia rabbit hole about something completely random at 11 p.m. Here's what's wild. Those are not bad habits. According to researchers and cognitive psychologists, they might be exactly what a sharp mind looks like in a real life. I'm about to go through 8 habits that are commonly linked to the higher IQ, and I'm willing to bet you do at least half of them. Some of these are going to feel like a personal attack. A couple of them are going to make you feel way better about yourself. Stay till the end. Habit number 7, the one that almost nobody talks about. It might be the most important one on this list. Let's go. Habit no 1. You talk to yourself out loud. Raise your hand if you have ever been caught talking to yourself in public and immediately felt like the weirdest person in the room. You're at Walmart, you're standing in the cereal aisle, and you're full on narrating. Okay, we need the one with less sugar. Wait, did I already buy the oatmeal? Someone walks by, you go silent, you pretending you were just humming. Here's the thing though, you were doing something remarkable. Research at the University of Wisconsin found that the self-directed speech, talking aloud to yourself, actually improves focus, helps the brain organize information faster, and enhance problem-solving performances. A study published in the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology confirmed it. People who verbalize their thinking outperform those who keep it all internal. Your brain processes verbal informations differently than silent thoughts. When you speak it out loud, you force your mind to commit to a train of thought, and that commitment creates clarity. So next time someone gives you a look at Kroger, just say, "Yeah, I'm optimizing, you should try it." The habit number 2, you stay up way too late. Your alarm is set for 6 a.m. It is currently 1:00 a.m. You're not asleep. Maybe you're watching something. Maybe you're reading. Maybe you're just thinking. You can't really explain it. The night just feels like yours in a way the daytime does not. A landmark study from the London School of Economics found that individuals who identify as night owls consistently score higher on a cognitive ability assessments than the morning people. The theory, night owls have the diverge from the default. Our ancestors were wired to the fall of the sun. Breaking from that pattern, staying mentally active when the world goes quiet. Now the important thing is, this is not a green light to skip sleep. Sleep deprivation kills cognition. The research is specifically about the natural preferences, not sleep debt. But if your best ideas come at midnight, whilst the kids are in bed, while some shows runs in the background, that's not a problem. That's just how your brain is built. Habit no 3, you're messy in a specific way. Not chaos messy, not there are dishes in the sink from the last Tuesday messy, but the desk covered in notes and papers where you somehow know exactly where everything is. The car with 3 reusable water bottles, a gym bag, 2 unread library books, that kind of messy. A landmark study from the Museum of Minnesota asked the participants to complete tasks in either a tidy room or a massive one. People in the disorganized space were significantly more creative, generating more novel ideas, making more unexpected connections, and thinking more freely. Why? Because tidy environment signals rules and the conformity to the brain. Disorder environments, paradoxically, single freedom to break conventions. Einstein's desk was famously chaotic. Steve Jobs worked in clatter. The pattern is not an accident. People call your space a mess. Tell them it's a cognitive enhancement environment. Watch their faces. The habit no 4, you ask why and can't let it go. You're at a 4th of July cookout. Someone says something like, "Oh, we have always done it that way," and something in your brain just refuses to accept that. But why, though? Where did that come from? Who decided that? Does it even still make sense? High intelligent people are driven by what psychologists called epistemic curiosity, a deeply wired need to understand the mechanisms behind things, not just the what, but the how and the why. This is not just an annoying personality trait. It's systems thinking. It's the same mental engine that built Google, that cracked DNA, that took us to the moon. The people who changed the world were not the ones who accept it. That's just how it is. They were the ones who sat in meetings, at dinner tables, in classrooms, and kept asking uncomfortable questions. If that's you, The person who asks one too many follow-ups and makes everyone slightly uncomfortable. That's not a social flaw. That's your intellect doing what it was made to do. Okay, we're 5 habits in, and I want to be the real with you for a second. A lot of things on this list, they get pathologies in American culture. We tell people to be tighter, sleep earlier, talk less to themselves, stop overthinking. But what if we had it completely backwards this whole time? The next 4 habits go even deeper, and one of them directly explains why the smartest people in the room often look the least confident. Stay with me. Habit No. 5. You are genuinely hard to impress. Your whole group chat is losing their minds over the new Marvel movie. You watch it was fine. You spent half the run time quietly cataloging plot holes. When you are in a meeting and a presenter delivers what everyone else calls a brilliant strategy, and something in your brain is already running the scenarios where it falls apart. This is not cynicism. It's not negativity. It's high-level pattern recognitions running in the backgrounds. Research in the cognitive science shows that the analytical thinkers don't just receive the informations. They evaluate it in the real time, cross-checking against existing knowledge, supporting inconsistencies, predicting downstream consequences. The trade-off. It makes it generally harder to just switch off and enjoy things. But the upside is significant. You are almost never fooled by bad deals, bad people, or a bad logic dressed up in a nice PowerPoint. Habit No. 6. You read everything, literally everything. It's 11:30 p.m. You're in a bad. You started a Wikipedia article about the history of the New York City subway system because it briefly appeared something you were watching. You are now 45 minutes deep into a sub-articles about a specific tunnel that was abandoned in 1945 and you have no regrets. Highly intelligent individuals tend to be voracious, wide-ranging readers, not just in their professional areas, but across everything. Fiction, science, history at midnight. The back of the shampoo bottle in the shower. Multiple long-term studies show that the people who read broadly and consistently maintaining stronger neural pathways, higher verbal reasonings, and better fluid intelligence into later life. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Warren Buffett estimate he spends 80% of his working hours reading. Elon Musk reportedly taught himself rocket science through textbooks. These are not coincidence. They are patterns. You don't need to be hit 50 books. But if you are someone who can't stop consuming new information, that combustion is your brain demanding the fuel it needs to function at high level. The habit No. 7. You second-guess yourself a lot. Here's the one that generally surprised people every time I bring it up. You had assumed the most intelligent peoples are the most self-assured. The ones who walk into a room and just know they have got it figured out. Actually, the opposite is almost always true. The Dunning-Kruger effect, one of the most replicated findings in the modern psychology, shows that the people with limited knowledge in a domain dramatically overestimate their competence. They don't know what they don't know. They have never seen the complexity. But the person who has spent real time inside a problem, they have seen every angle. They have felt the uncertainty. They know exactly how much can go wrong, how much remains unknown. How many smart peoples have gotten this wrong before? So they hesitate. They double check. They ask, am I sure about this? What am I missing? That's not a weakness. That is epistemic humility. The willingness to hold your belief loosely in the face of generally complexity. It is one of the rarest and the most powerful cognitive traits a human being can have. The loudest, the most certain voice in the room is often the least informed. And the person quietly asking, but are we sure, is often the one who saves the whole project. If you recognize yourself as that, trust yourself a little more. The doubt is not a weakness. It's evidence that you understand how hard things actually are. And habit number 8, last but not the least, you overthink everything. At 2 a.m., you're lying awake replying something you said in a meeting 3 weeks ago. You have mentally stress-tested your vacations internally for every possible thing that could go wrong. Weather delays, lost luggage. The restaurant you booked might have changed the menu. Your friend called it anxiety. You called it Tuesday. Here's what the science actually says. A study from the Lakehead University found a significant positive correlations between the verbal intelligence and the tendency to worry and ruminate. Smarter people don't think about what's happening. They've modeled multiple versions of what could happen. Evolutionarily, this is a profound advantage. Anticipating threats before they arrive is a survival mechanism. The people who worried more, who ran the what if something goes wrong simulations before walking into the unknown, tended to survive longer. The key insight: the worry itself is not the problem. It's a signal that your brain is doing something sophisticated, learning to channel it into a proactive planning instead of the passive spiraling is how intelligent worries become highly effective pupils. If that's you, welcome to the club. The membership is exhausting, but the risk management is excellent. Let's bring this home. We covered 8 habits: talking to yourself, staying up too late, creative messings, asking why obviously, being hard to impress, reading everything, overthinking, hearing small talk, and a second guessing yourself. Here's what I need you to actually walk away understanding. Intelligence is not a trophy. It's not a test score or a GP or how fast you can solve a puzzle. It's a pattern of engagement with the world, a set of tendency that your brain has. The things that people told you were too much, the overthinking, the late nights, the weird questions, the fact that you can't just make small talk and be happy about it, those are not bugs. They might be exactly how a sharp mind is supposed to work. You're not broken, you're not difficult. You might just be running a more complex operating system than the people around you have noticed. Drop a comment right now which one of these 8 habits heads closest to home. I generally want to know, and I read every single comment. Have they made you see yourself a little differently? Share it with someone who needs to hear it. The person in your life who's always been told you it's too much, this one is for them. And if you want to go deeper on how the brain actually builds and grows intelligence over time, what science says is you can actively do this: sharper your minds. That's exactly what the next videos covers. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. I will see you there.